Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Tea. Today is Thursday the 27th of November 2024. Today we'll be talking about Sony officially confirming the PlayStation 2 has sold over 160 million units, and Nintendo closing the Switch eShop and online services in China by 2026, as well as updating the track list for Nintendo Music and updating the official Zelda timeline with Echoes of Wisdom. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. And we begin with Sony, who as part of their 30th anniversary celebration of the PlayStation brand, has officially updated their website history with the total sales numbers for the PlayStation 2, stating that it has sold over 160 million units since it launched back in March 2000. Now, with the Nintendo Switch practically nipping at its heels, the PlayStation 2 does still hold the record as the best-selling console of all time, and this isn't the first time we've heard this 160 million figure, of course, because we had the former infamous PlayStation boss Jim Ryan casually claiming on a podcast that the PlayStation 2 had sold 160 million units earlier this year. But this is the first time Sony has officially acknowledged this by updating their PlayStation history page. Now, the PlayStation's last major milestone was back in 2011 when Sony had revealed that the console had surpassed 150 million sales. Now, even though Sony stopped manufacturing PS2 consoles back in January 2013, there were obviously some consoles still out in the wild that were sold, and thus Sony's probably been tracking those as well. Now, to put all of this into perspective, the PlayStation 5 is currently at 65 million lifetime sales. The PS4 has sold 117 million units. The PS3 is at 87 million, and the PlayStation 1 sold a whopping 102 million units. Now, previously, it was only the Nintendo DS that came close to matching the PS2's previously announced sales figures, shifting 154 million units to the then PlayStation 2's 155 million units, but now obviously it trails it by 6 million units. As for the Switch, it currently stands at 146 million units sold. Now, this system still is selling, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that it could shift another 10-15 million in its lifetime before Nintendo decides to stop producing units. So for all the console fanboy warriors out there, all hope is not lost. Nintendo just needs to sell another 15 million units and it would have surpassed the PS2, and you can all scream and shout about it on the internet. But either way, it is a fantastic milestone for the PlayStation 2, which was, arguably a fantastic console. Having a DVD player inside, it helped a lot, and the software lineup was second to none. So yeah, there you have it. PlayStation 2 has officially sold 160 million units, as confirmed by Sony. And moving over to Nintendo. Nintendo will close its Switch eShop and all network services in China in 2026. After 31st of March 2026, the digital store will no longer sell games, plus 3 trials will no longer be available. Then, from the 15th of May 2026, Nintendo will stop all download and code redemption services, meaning DLC will no longer be redeemable. All other network-related services will also end on the 15th of May 2026. This was announced by Tencent Nintendo Switch, the partnership between the massive Chinese conglomerate Tencent and Nintendo. Now, naturally, this will only affect official Nintendo Switch consoles sold in China. The grey or black market, as some people like to call it, will still be thriving and still be providing Nintendo Switch consoles to those who want to purchase it. Now, Nintendo has not put out an official statement as to why it's ending these services in the country, and Tencent also has neither put out any information as to why. Now, as compensation for this shutdown, Tencent Nintendo has put out statements saying that they are launching a reward program providing users with up to 4 Nintendo games for free for WeChat users. They'll need to log into WeChat on their console and redeem the codes between the 27th of November 2024 and the 31st of March 2026. The users can choose between the following Nintendo Switch games: New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Party, Mario Tennis Aces, Yoshi's Crafted World, Flexible Brain School, Dr. Kawashima's Brain Exercises, Kirby Star Allies, New Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Further details can be found on the Nintendo Tencent Chinese website. Now, it's not sure why this decision has been taken and what the reason behind it is, but unconfirmed sources report to an issue between the partner who has been running the online service in China for Nintendo, whereas other information seems to point to the fact that the Chinese government has apparently been steadily introducing rules to limit the encouragement of spending in online games and battle video game addiction amongst young people. It also leaves the question unanswered as to what this means for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 in this region. I guess we will just have to wait and see what happens. Sticking with Nintendo, Nintendo has added some additional tracks to the Nintendo Music app. The latest Nintendo Music mobile app update happens to coincide with the 20th anniversary of the Nintendo DS. And so, the soundtrack from Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training, How Old Is Your Brain, has been added to the service. The soundtrack comes with 14 tracks and has a runtime of 35 minutes. The full list of tracks included in the latest update can be seen below. Now, even though the soundtrack is based on the DS version of Brain Age, there's now a newer version of the game available on the Nintendo Switch. Existing DS soundtracks on this music service include Nintendogs and Tomodachi Collection. Brain Age follows the addition of the N64 soundtrack F-Zero X last week. And bear in mind, to use the Nintendo's Music app, you will need to have an active Nintendo Switch Online subscription. And in our last bit of news today, Nintendo has revealed the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom's position on the official franchise timeline just a mere 2 months after the game launched on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we already know the Zelda timeline has ignited all sorts of debates and theories and fan discussion over the years. So it's always interesting when Nintendo adds a game or story to it, because the online discourse is going to be absolutely wild. However, Nintendo has filed Zelda's latest adventure under the Hero is Defeated timeline, placing it after Triforce Heroes and before the decline of the Hyrule Kingdom. Nintendo's official description of Echoes of Wisdom in the timeline is as follows. The hero Link sets out to rescue Princess Zelda, who was captured by Ganon. Following a fierce battle, Link defeats Ganon, only to be swallowed up by an eerie rift. It was as if he'd been stolen away. All across Hyrule, more mysterious rifts are forming and taking the people of Hyrule away. Nobody is safe, not even the king himself and his advisors, who have also gone missing. Princess Zelda must set out on an adventure to save her father, the king of Hyrule, the people, and Link. And the official page further notes that this timeline stems from the Ocarina of Time loser outcome, when the Hero of Time is defeated in battle by Ganondorf. The victory outcome, known as the Hero is Triumphant, leads to Link's child and adult eras. Now, as I said before, the Zelda timeline, official, non-official, leads to all sorts of discussions, back and forth, theories online, but ultimately, does it really matter? Nintendo themselves have said that they generally consider the timeline only to a small extent during the development process of the games, and that the gameplay tends to take priority over the story. So ultimately, I think, the timeline's there probably mostly for the fans, but Nintendo doesn't consider that as heavily when they're making these games as say fans who discuss the theories and all sorts of things would normally do. So yeah, the timeline is a bit of a mess if you want to look at it that way, but from Nintendo's perspective, they are looking to make a compelling game with great gameplay, and then they'll generally consider the story afterwards. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Gaming Tea. What do you think about the topics we've discussed today? What do you think about PlayStation officially updating their history webpage with the PS2 sales numbers reaching 160 million? What do you think about Nintendo pulling out of China in 2026? Are you interested in the latest update to the Nintendo Music app? And what do you think about the addition to the official Zelda timeline by adding in Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom? I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Once again, I thank you for listening and watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe if you are somebody new, and I will see you lovely people on the next one. Cheers.